All right, welcome back to another episode of Third Phase. This one is a little bit different. The boys are not together. We've been, like everyone's been affected by coronavirus. So I'm here in London. I've got the boys calling in. We've got Tuppers in Dublin.
What it do, baby?
And Lima calling in from Leamington Spa.
Yeah, boys, what's going on? The Lamb.
So 10 o'clock on a Thursday night, we thought we'd just get together, give a check, probably give it a bit of insight on what's been happening with us with coronavirus over here in the UK. For me, I've been at home for the last week. Seems to be that's the case for a lot of people here in London. Try to work from home where they can for the foreseeable future. The supermarkets are absolutely empty. Toilet paper's been gone for a long time, but seems to be a lot of craziness going on. The schools are closing for tomorrow here in the UK as well. That seems to be a really big concern with everything else that's going on. How long will that go for? Exams are being cancelled. But for me, probably living in London, it seems, what does a lockdown look like? You know, if they are to do a really strict lockdown in a city of 10 million people, you know, I don't know if you know, could you really do that? Could, you know, without army involvement or the police involvement, you know, in London,
yeah.
That's not really going to happen. You know, it has to be something like in Wuhan or in Italy where there is the police services involved that would force us to stay home. So that's a bit of a strange one. What's it been like for you in Dublin, Tuppers? The measures there seem to be a bit more quicker than it has been. Heavy.
Yeah. I think we've gone from listening to the government. They've gone for the flatten the curve approach. So it was Thursday last week, we all got sent home from work. So most of Ireland and Dublin is working remotely at the moment. And similar to you guys, man, you guys still have restaurants and pubs open, but we've got nothing open. It's just supermarkets, banks, a few little coffee shops if you're lucky. But otherwise, man, it's complete lockdown at the moment. It's not being government enforced yet, but basically, there's nothing open. It's pretty dire, man, pretty boring. So I've just been working at home for the last 2 weeks. I actually went into the office the other day. I work in recruitment. For the listeners, I had a new joiner fly over from India on Friday. And he was meant to start work. So he was meant to start work on Wednesday, and he hadn't looked into it. Probably didn't really realize what I was talking about on the phone. So he got a bit of a shock. So he's at a hostel somewhere trying to find accommodation and things. So thinking of you, Vinay, if you're listening, mate. But,
nah, bro, you've done him dirty there, bro. You've done him so dirty. That's disgusting.
Nah, he'll be all right. I'm looking after him. But yeah, no, it's been interesting times. I think with London, it's a lot more people dense in terms of public transport and things, whereas here it is probably a bit less so. But you can really tell with restaurants and stuff, just everyone's really bought into kind of the self-isolation. So it's been really good in terms of containing it. But I don't know, they're saying cases will grow kind of 33% each day. So we'll see what happens, man. It's interesting times. Very interesting. What about you, Soppers? What's the go, mate?
Obviously, training's been binned off, boys. So just doing the prison workouts at the moment at home. Obviously, I got a walk bike, so
that's been your friend.
Smashing that. Mm-hmm. That's been my friend. Been smashing that, and then obviously Rhett from back home, who owns a gym in Perth with Luke. He sent me a few EMOMs, they're called, every minute on the minute. So just a few home workout, body weight workout circuits. Actually pretty hard, eh? So we did one tonight.
Yeah, what kind of exercises in that are you doing? How intense is it?
So it was just so the first round, so I just did one today and I was 12 minutes is the minimum. So he was like, I'll do 12 minutes, but that's the minimum. I was like, okay, sweet. So he sent through a program and it sounds pretty easy. And tonight we did 20 squats, 15 push-ups, and then 5 burpees. But if it takes you 55 seconds to do it, then you only got 5 seconds rest. So it's every minute on the minute, you know what I mean? So you just keep going as hard as you can for 12 rounds, really. And then, I've smashed that one, and then another one I smashed out the other day. yesterday. So it's been all good. Good to be home with the kids. Like, fuck, shout out to all those parents who are at home 24/7, man. Like, that's just the real grind.
Yeah, like we're even getting it in our workplace at the moment, like people who do have kids, but then they're trying to work remotely as well, like dialing into calls and their kids are like walking in on the video calls and stuff. Pretty funny.
Yeah, bro. So, just heaps of arts and crafts. We can still sort of walk around, so just try to take Miller to the park. There's fuck all people around. But yeah, there's no one around, and we just try to stay away from people and do our bit. But there's a few deliveries and things from like the local coffee shops and places like that. So still trying to support local businesses as well.
Yeah. So
when this is all over, then yeah.
Sorry. How have you been dealing with? I know it's only been like a week or so, or probably a bit longer for you, T. But how have you been dealing with? Like not going insane or a bit of cabin fever while you're sitting at home?
I think it's been all good, because obviously I've got 2 kids, so they make days go super, super fast, and they're just full on. But, when we get a break, like in the morning, try to get a coffee from our local coffee shop.
Yes.
And then, we've obviously just got some food, so just cook up some food here, and then that's about it. But we go to our coffee shop, and then there's a sushi joint that we like to go to. So just kind of ring up and get a takeaway order. Just try to still support them, you know what I mean? And yeah, just see what happens. Might get a sort of a home call out for a haircut as well. But that's about it, bro.
Yeah. And you, Tubbs?
Yeah, bro. I'm kind of it's still been pretty busy with work, so that's kept me busy, but I'm just trying to get out kind of once every hour or 2 hours, get out for a quick walk, like get a workout in during the day, get up early in the morning. There's a coffee shop that's still open just at the end of my street, so just get the coffee, try and support them as well. But yeah, bro, it's like today's probably been the first day we've really hit the wall today. I'll be like, especially because like you wake up in the morning, then you're in your house, go away, and then usually you'd break it up like there's no escape, and then you're back here. But I'll tell you what, mate, the Xbox is getting a solid workout.
Yeah, because I think, like, I guess you both just mentioned the big thing probably concerning is just the effect that can have on small business, isn't it? So, especially as where I live in London, there's a lot of bars and pubs and restaurants and little independent store owners that rely on that foot traffic, but once you take that away from them, that's in their pockets. So, and you see that, they're still, the pub across the road from me, normally from a Wednesday onwards is absolutely chocker, but today, even looking across the road, there's only, there was a couple of people sitting in there, and that was about it. But and it's quite crazy. Had a chat with the bartender, and he was saying, well, until Boris gives us the word, we're going to still be serving pints to the locals, which is really quite uplifting in a way. They're still willing to serve their community, and businesses like this are really crucial for the community.
What are your thoughts on Boris's approach?
On the herd immunity, I don't know enough about it, to be honest. From what I understand, I can understand the reasoning behind it. But unless you are going to lock a city of 10 million people or a country of 40 million people down with force, because the UK is not like China. If Boris said right now, okay, completely lock down the UK, most Brits are going to be like, you're right, mate. I can still go down to the pub and have a cheeky lager, It's almost like a halfway, or there's another way to it. So I don't think anyone can say really until we get out of it, whether they could have either been they're either going to be brilliant geniuses or they got it wrong. But who's to say who got it right until that point?
Yeah, absolutely. No, fair.
But you know what is sad about what we're going through at the moment is just like how shit everybody is at the moment. Like you go into supermarkets, bro, it's just like empty, like completely empty. like nothing there.
Yeah,
Nobody's like, you know what I mean? Like there's like some people have got like 500 rolls of toilet paper sitting in their house.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it all?
I think it brings out the really. No, I think probably as humans, isn't it, that we it's almost like a pack mentality. So then, once you see other people doing it, or you start seeing the shelves emptying, you start grabbing it because you think, "Oh, I should grab that." Because it's the last one, or it seems like that's the way it goes, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. What I found good about this time though, like it is around kind of self-reflection and kind of, I suppose, careers, what you're up to, and that. Have you guys been doing much of that or no?
Yeah, we do. I think probably you put it best. I think, Liam, particularly in your situation, because obviously T and I still have work going on, and whilst the environment has changed, we're still very much working. I guess for you, your routine has very much changed. So, kind of, what's your been thinking? What's your thinking been on that point?
Yeah, I guess that as a player, like a lot of people get all these people come in and say, like footy's only so long, and then like my brother, he's obviously transitioned out of playing football, and he's kind of got into that corporate world, and he's always on my case, and he's kind of been the catalyst for like me having this kind of like thought or epiphany or whatever you want to call it around waking up and just being like, holy hecker. Like we got sent home on Monday. We went in, did some gym, played some football, and then we got a message that night. I was like, oh, don't come in. Like, we're done for 5 weeks or whatever it is. It's just like, that's what could happen in your rugby career. You could like turn up one season and, bust your knee and that's it. Like touch wood, that doesn't happen. But that's the reality of it all. And so I guess what, a lot of people been saying to me and to a lot of us players for a long time is find stuff outside of rugby to kind of sink your teeth in so that when it does come time, that the transition isn't so hard and that you can, you're not wasting years just sitting there doing nothing or getting depressed or, just wasting away when the next part of your life is actually meant to be exciting and, you're not defined by just being a rugby player. Mm-hmm. I think that's what has this opportunity of time should give us and has definitely given me is just an eye-opener because like when it's all said and done and the bright lights turn off, like that's it. The game's done and it's time to move on and get into another part of your life.
Have you had much thought or, other than being a professional podcaster? Anything else outside of that, man?
Get to Joe Rogan levels, man. Yeah, I'm not really too sure. I've just been talking to a few people like there's Jake at the RPA and a lot of people have actually reached out on LinkedIn and whatnot. But obviously with the time being as it is now, like can't obviously go and meet up with people and have these chats and things like that. So it's just kind of messaging people or getting on email and things like that and just trying to write down a few goals or things that I'm interested in, things that I'm passionate about and working back from there and just to see what happens really. I'm not really too sure to be totally honest, but it's definitely given me a thought to like this is the time now to do something, especially with the leverage that we have and people wanting to actually give us a hand.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you got like a real optimistic way to look at it, isn't it? Is that what is happening could provide some opportunities for all of us, at the same time, or kind of refocus some of your priorities. Titapu and I were talking earlier, and I was just saying, I think we can really start planning our podcast. We definitely gonna have the weekends to do it at some time on our hands. So, it could be something, and this could be anyone, kind of follow a passion or, read that book that you're meant to read or do whatever it is, or, learn about something that you were always wanting to do. So I think this can be that time to do that. What I've loved actually seeing from a couple of you guys, I know Brad had done it and Jeff had done it, ring some of your season members. I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Do you want to know a funny story about that?
Yeah, go on.
So I got given 2 numbers. So the first guy rang. I don't know if it's because he couldn't understand me or whatever, but I rang and I was like, "Oh, hey, it's Lima from Wasp, blah blah blah," and he just like said hello and then just hung up the phone straight away. And the next guy,
he must have seen your tickling technique, bro.
I was just thinking that, Carl.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, sweet. And then I rang the next guy, and then I was like, hey, and then I was like, oh, it's Lima, and then he was like must have heard something completely different or whatever, and he just hung up the phone. It was just like, leave me alone. He was like, leave me alone, and I was just like, for fuck's sake. I was just like, oh man, that was a waste. That was a waste of my credit, man.
You get some more numbers up, mate. It has been a really cool initiative, though, and I think it's like, especially at these times, it's really important to stay connected. You know, it's tough, especially for the elderly who can't get visitors and that kind of thing, or you know.
Yeah, and that, for sure,
it's really important.
So yeah, even not obviously not ringing your season member holders, but you might have better luck than Lima.
Yeah, how many season member holders do you have,
Carl? But yeah, I guess it gives you time to just ring. Even with technology these days, you can Skype and FaceTime, or you can just call some of your family. They know you're home, so you got a chance to do that. So
you can't fob them off anymore.
yeah. It's not like you're out. So yeah, it's an interesting time here. So what have you thought about toppers? Is there anything that you've been thinking of? What
he thought about rugby, bro. That's all he's been thinking about. Where am I going to go rugby? Where's my rugby?
It's been tough. No, like I suppose, just been looking at other opportunities and potential like night courses and stuff that I could do. Maybe to upskill a little bit and move more into consulting side of stuff. But we'll see what happens. It's all a bit of a long shot at the moment.
Yeah. What about the no sports? I know obviously Lima, you're part of that, but there's just no sport on at all. I guess there's still hold on hope that there's a little bit of NRL and a bit of Super Rugby still going, but that's probably not far off from being cancelled as well, isn't it? So,
well, Super's cancelled. I think I was talking to one of the boys. Yeah, bro. Super Rugby's cancelled.
Indefinitely.
That's what I just said.
Nah.
It's binned off, bro. So New Zealand NZRU apparently looking at the New Zealand conference and just playing a home and away.
Yeah, that's
not obviously that's only 8 games.
Just kind of everyone does their own, just their own conference. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's happened? They've only played 39% of the games, so the broadcasting rights or whatever. I don't know too much details, is what I've been told.
Okay.
But they've got to hit a certain level of games to be able to get that broadcasting money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, because I guess in
who knows,
some way they're going to because the Premiership rugby here, you're kind of nearing the end, isn't it, of the season? So as opposed to them where they've barely started really. So
yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah, so interesting. I mean, the NRL they're really out week 2 now, must be, I think, or week.
Those guys are proper blue collar, eh?
Yeah,
like just crack on, like not even, like they're just worrying about the bottom line.
Yeah, even the Warriors having to stay in Australia for a bit, eh? That's mad.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's right.
Jokes,
they're just parked up in Australia for a while, aren't they? So
I think they're in the Gold Coast.
So, which is
that's rats.
In a way, it's kind of New Zealand away from home.
Yeah.
So well, they seem to be the only sport really playing now. But good on them. It's pretty crazy times, man.
Yeah.
What's all been happening around here?
Do you guys follow any like conspiracy theories around all this stuff, or like you see it on like online and stuff?
I've seen some, but I haven't really subscribed to them.
Like,
go on, rattle some off.
No. I was just wondering. I was just.
Just say what they are. Just say what they are. You don't have to explain them, but.
No, I don't. You just see all these stupid. Well, they could. I don't know. Not stupid, but like you just see all these people post stuff about like, it's a full reset and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just interesting. Like, it's just interesting. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just, like, obviously this time is difficult for everybody. But it's just funny that like the internet just it's undefeated. The internet's undefeated.
Yeah. Well, once people grab a hold of something, right, on the internet that sounds half true, then it's all over Red Rover.
Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on social media within, like, in times like these, like, how it affects the society and stuff? Creating more scaremongering, or is it?
Well, social media is like anything, man. You got to take the good with the bad, right? Like, it's social media sort of an effective way of transmitting a message, because no one, like, most people don't read news, right? Like, they don't go through, they don't go through articles. So sometimes people, but if you send something through Instagram, people will definitely read it, right? So there's that, but like with anything, it's difficult to stop scaremongering because I also think like people's levels are different, right? As in, there's people who are just naturally will be naturally more scared when news like this come, whereas some people are a bit more maybe rational, say, if that's the right word, and won't be so. So it'll probably, I don't know, man. That I've really danced around that question, but
yeah.
No, like I guess for me personally, I'm kind of like
it doesn't suck you in.
Doesn't, probably as much. Maybe I've seen too much, or just think. Well, I just think I always read something and I think, oh, it sounds a bit fishy. You can always Google it to double check.
Yeah.
So and so that's probably probably taking social media as gospel is probably not wise. Is probably my point. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm much the same. No, it's just interesting. Yeah, like being in a load of team meetings and stuff today, and like our boss is like, stay off social media, don't get buy-in to everything. It's just like, come on, man. They're probably just trying to make us do work.
Yeah, I think staying off social media is because, good luck trying to tell people to stay off social media.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
are you actually doing work at the moment, Toppers, or nah, boss?
Always. Got a few meetings locked in for tomorrow. There has been a tough adjustment. Like, I'm not usually very effective when I work from home, so I've had to get my A into G, man. But no, things are starting to hit the straps now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, like, you're okay to work from home like once or twice a week, but every day is a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just hard to kind of get up for every day. Like, usually I would work from home to kind of get it, like, so I don't have to meet people face to face. I can focus on like admin type stuff. But now, because everyone's online, you're getting so many like messages and everything, emails, pings, like kind of instant messages we have on Microsoft Teams, and it's just 24/7 ongoing. It's just like, you can't kind of escape it, and you're trying to work and stuff's popping up, and it's just like, oh, come on, So it's all good. Such is life. Such is life.
Yeah.
Such is life, man.
Well, I think that's us, boys. Do you want to add anything else? Leave it.
Nah, just wash your hands, bro. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands and wash your balls, bro, and brush your teeth.
We'll do, man.
While singing happy birthday
you too, bro.
Yeah.
We'll be safe, boys. Stay safe out there, brothers.
Have you found what's the toilet paper supplies at your houses?
Ooh.
Like?
And the funny, I think we're actually down to maybe our last 4 rolls. So
single digits.
Mate, any single digits. I might have to get out to the shops.
It's dire.
So, yeah.
It's dire around here. We're actually all good. We're actually all
good.
We're
not too bad.
Well, to be fair, you got nappies as well, so I guess you could just start using nappies, man.
Yeah. Island's getting big too, bro.
We got wipes, too. We got baby wipes, so we're good. You know what I mean?
They must.
I don't know about the wet wipes, bro.
The supermarkets must be short. They must be short on that too, right?
Who?
Baby wipes. Are they running short as well? Or no.
I don't think all the people with kids, they know that trick. Like people without kids.
Oh, okay. So there still were baby wipes around.
Yeah,
okay.
And like on Amazon and stuff like that. But I don't think people without kids think of that one. They think, tissues, paper towels, but they don't think of the wipes.
Yeah.
Like why would they think of baby wipes?
Yeah, true. Oh, funny. That's yeah. Or maybe because I hang out with you, but I was thinking like, I bought baby wipes on the list, but I haven't.
Funny.
Right,
Bro, don't go to the shop and pick up the baby wipes, man. Babies need them, brother.
Yeah. Can't be stealing them.
All I was buying them for was like, I just like them just to clean my shoes. That's the reason I was buying them.
No, actually, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
That's a good shout. You can't flush them down the toilet, lads.
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
flush them down the toilet.
Yeah,
It's bad for the environment. So if it comes that desperate, lads, just put it in a plastic bag.
Third phase disclaimer.
Yeah,
third phase disclaimer.
Third phase disclaimer. Tip of the day and the disclaimer.
Thanks for tuning in this in these times. Everyone keep safe, and until next time on the third phase. Peace.
Take it easy.
Hello.
Oh, where did T go?
T just dropped out. Yeah,
where did T?
T's gone.
Not the not paying your internet. Like his internet's got coronavirus.
Oh, unlucky Dublin.
Oh,
it's just you now.
Oh,
He's just dropped
there's
off.
just been you.
Yeah. Oh, he's on a roll. I'll just stop.
Do we start again, or do we just go two man? Shaq and Kobe.
Shit, where was him? Oh, no, he's back. Is he back?
Where did he go, man?
His name's on the thing.
Nah, he's toast, bro. He hasn't paid his internet bill.
He said you guys hung up on me.
You guys have... You know what? He hung up on himself.
Bro, you guys hung up on me.
No, bro, that was yourself. I haven't touched my... Me and Lima was still on the call.
Pay your internet,
I could hear you guys saying like, "Oh, pay your internet." Right.
Nah, that was definitely you.
But you couldn't hear me.
Nah, because if I hang up,
coronavirus.
Yeah, very.
The internet got coronavirus.
It's been maxed out.
Wait, sorry. I'm gonna just stop.
Not the crybaby.